Welcome, esteemed gentlemen. Freedom is the oxygen of the soul. Moshe Dayan. But here's the twist. Try to cage someone who thrives on that oxygen, and you'll suffocate both them and yourself in the process. Enter the Sigma male, the untamed archetype who lives by his own rules, answers to no one, and treats conformity like it's a bad joke. Here's a fact to chew on. Studies in psychology reveal that highly independent individuals often exhibit a stronger resistance to external control. They don't rebel for rebellion's sake. They simply find fulfillment in navigating life on their own terms. Now imagine attempting to tame someone like that. It's like trying to leash the wind or teach a cat how to fetch. Spoiler alert, it won't end well for you. Because taming them doesn't just fail, it destroys the very essence of what makes them extraordinary. In this exploration, we'll unravel the mindset, values, and principles that make Sigma males untouchable in a world that thrives on rules and hierarchies. You'll discover why their untamed nature isn't a flaw, but a feature, and why anyone who tries to cage them is destined to fail spectacularly and possibly get ghosted in the process. Ready to dive into the world of the ultimate lone wolves? Let's uncover why Sigma males can't and shouldn't be tamed. Buckle up, it's about to get unapologetically real. Number 1. They refuse to live under a microscope. Sigma males hate being micromanaged because it goes against their core philosophy of independence. They don't just prefer autonomy, they demand it. For them, being micromanaged feels like being put in a box they never agreed to step into. It's suffocating, insulting, and ultimately unproductive. They believe in efficiency, not control, and see micromanagement as a sign of insecurity or mistrust from the other party. These individuals thrive on self-motivation and internal discipline. They don't need constant reminders, corrections, or someone peering over their shoulder to ensure they're doing things the right way. In fact, nothing grates on a Sigma male's nerves more than being told how to do something they already know how to handle, or worse, being told to conform to a rigid system that stifles creativity. It's not defiance, it's pragmatism. They know they work best when trusted to figure things out on their own terms. The irony is, micromanaging a Sigma male will likely get the opposite of the intended result. Instead of fostering cooperation, it triggers resistance. They'll withdraw, emotionally or physically, to reclaim their autonomy. Their silence isn't passive-aggressive, it's self-preservation. They see micromanagement as a form of manipulation, an attempt to strip them of their self-direction. What makes them even more immune to this behavior is their ability to perform exceptionally well without supervision. They're often problem solvers, innovators, and deep thinkers, and they don't need external pressure to excel. Trying to control them only wastes time and alienates them. For a Sigma male, trust is earned by letting them do their thing, not by standing over them. And once you learn to step back and give them space, they'll prove why they were never meant to be managed in the first place. Number 2. They know the difference between love and control. Sigma males have an almost uncanny ability to distinguish love from control, and it's a skill that keeps them unshackled from toxic relationships and manipulative dynamics. To them, love is a choice, not an obligation, and it's rooted in mutual respect and trust. Control, on the other hand, is a sly intruder disguised as concern, disguised as care. Sigma males see through it instantly, and the moment they sense it creeping into a relationship, they begin to detach. They understand that love isn't about ownership. It's not about dictating someone else's choices or bending them to fit into a predetermined mold. They value emotional connection, but only when it's genuine, free-flowing, and untainted by power plays. This clarity allows them to walk away from relationships that may seem perfect on the outside, but reek of hidden agendas or subtle control mechanisms. What makes Sigma males so unyielding in this respect is their self-awareness. They know who they are and what they stand for, so they're not easily swayed by guilt-tripping, passive-aggressive behavior or the fear of being alone. If someone's idea of love involves restricting their freedom, monitoring their actions, or manipulating their emotions, the Sigma male won't just resist, they'll disappear. This doesn't mean they're incapable of love or unwilling to compromise. Far from it. When they commit, they give deeply and authentically, but only when the connection is rooted in equality. They're drawn to people who celebrate their independence, not threaten it, and who understand that control has no place in genuine love. In the end, Sigma males are wired to prioritize truth over comfort, and they'll always choose freedom over a love that feels like a cage. Number 3. Their sense of freedom is sacred. For Sigma males, freedom isn't just a preference. It's the very essence of their existence. It's what allows them to thrive, grow, and stay true to themselves. Take away their freedom, and you strip them of everything that makes them who they are. It's not just physical freedom they crave, like the ability to go where they want or do what they please. It's also mental, emotional, and social freedom. The right to think independently, feel authentically, and live without the weight of unnecessary expectations. This deep connection to their freedom makes them extremely selective about the people and situations they allow into their lives. Sigma males have zero tolerance for anyone who tries to confine them, whether it's through possessiveness, societal norms, or rigid rules. They're not anti-relationship or anti-commitment, but the moment a partnership begins to feel like a leash instead of a mutual bond, they'll start pulling away. It's not about rebellion or a fear of responsibility. It's about staying aligned with their true nature. They understand that freedom fuels their creativity, ambition, and happiness. It's the reason they're able to achieve so much on their own terms and why they're often seen as outliers in a world that loves conformity. People who misunderstand them might see this as selfishness, but it's actually the opposite. Sigma males know that when they're free, they're at their best, not just for themselves, but for those they care about. They don't want to burden anyone with dependency, and they don't want to feel burdened in return. Their sense of freedom is sacred, and any attempt to restrict it isn't just a threat to their lifestyle. It's a direct attack on their very identity. Number 4. Guilt and fear are useless shackles. Sigma males are immune to the traps of guilt and fear because they've mastered the art of emotional independence. While many people get pulled into decisions or behaviors to avoid upsetting others or to escape judgment, Sigma males operate on a completely different frequency. They don't make choices based on external pressures. They make them based on logic, personal values, and an unshakable understanding of who they are. Guilt is a tool that often works on people who are overly concerned with external validation or afraid of being seen as the bad guy. Sigma males couldn't care less about those labels. They aren't rude or dismissive. They simply refuse to shoulder guilt that doesn't belong to them. If someone tries to use emotional manipulation to steer their actions, they'll see right through it. Rather than caving, they'll calmly distance themselves, leaving the manipulator wondering why their tactics didn't work. Fear is another weapon that has no effect on them. Sigma males don't live in fear of rejection, failure, or the unknown. They've embraced the fact that life is unpredictable and that mistakes are inevitable. This makes them incredibly hard to control, as fear is one of the most common levers people use to exert power. Whether it's a boss threatening their job or a partner hinting at abandonment, Sigma males remain unfazed. They know their worth doesn't hinge on any external factor, so they refuse to let fear dictate their decisions. Their resistance to guilt and fear doesn't make them cold or unfeeling, it makes them strong. They don't bend to manipulation because they value authenticity over approval. If you want to influence a Sigma male, you'll need to use something far more powerful than fear or guilt. Genuine respect. Number 5. They believe in equality, not possession. Sigma males view relationships as partnerships, not ownership. They don't see their partners as possessions to control or dominate, nor do they tolerate anyone trying to do the same to them. For them, a relationship is a mutual agreement between two individuals who respect each other's autonomy while choosing to share their lives. Any attempt to blur that line or impose control is a deal breaker. What sets Sigma males apart is their understanding that love doesn't need chains to survive. They know that true connection thrives on trust, freedom, and equality, not on restrictions or power dynamics. When they commit to someone, it's because they genuinely want to, not because they feel obligated or pressured. That commitment is grounded in choice, not dependency. It's why they'll never try to limit their partner's growth or individuality, and they expect the same in return. Ownership to them feels suffocating and counterproductive. It kills the very qualities that likely drew them to someone in the first place: independence, confidence, and authenticity. They don't want a partner who clings to them or molds their life around theirs. Instead, they seek someone who can stand as their equal, someone who challenges them intellectually and emotionally without trying to dominate or be dominated. This perspective can be intimidating to people who are used to traditional dynamics where control or dependency plays a role. But Sigma males aren't interested in power struggles. They want a partner who's self-sufficient and secure enough to coexist without either party feeling owned. To them, a relationship is like two strong pillars standing side by side, holding up a shared roof. If one partner starts leaning too much or trying to push the other, the entire structure collapses. Balance, not control, is their ultimate goal. Number 6. Respect is their ultimate measure of worth. Sigma males value respect far more than love, and that's a hard concept for many to grasp. Love, while powerful, can often be tangled with emotions like possessiveness, dependency, or even selfishness. Respect, on the other hand, is clean. It's built on understanding, trust, and recognizing someone's individuality. For a Sigma male, love without respect is hollow, and they won't tolerate it for a second. To them, respect is what keeps a relationship balanced. It's about honoring each other's boundaries, supporting each other's goals, and never trying to diminish the other person. Without respect, love can easily turn toxic, becoming more about control than connection. Sigma males aren't interested in being loved for who someone wants them to be. They want to be respected for who they truly are, flaws and all. This is why they're so selective in their relationships. They don't chase after shallow affection or meaningless flattery. They look for depth, for a connection where both parties see and appreciate each other's worth. And while love can fade or change over time, respect is something that, once established, remains steady. It's the foundation that keeps them invested in any bond. People who try to love a Sigma male without respecting them often find themselves frustrated. These men won't stay in situations where they're talked down to, manipulated, or dismissed. They don't need grand romantic gestures or declarations of love. They need to know that their values, choices, and independence are honored. For a Sigma male, respect isn't optional, it's essential. It's the glue that holds everything together, and without it, no amount of love will ever be enough. Number 7. They place purpose over people. Sigma males won't sacrifice their purpose for anyone. It's not that they're selfish or incapable of love. Rather, their purpose is the driving force behind everything they do, and they see it as non-negotiable. They've spent time carefully crafting their path in life, and they know that achieving their goals requires focus and dedication, no matter how much others may try to pull them off course. This unwavering commitment to their mission is what sets them apart. While other people might bend their dreams for relationships, approval, or comfort, Sigma males are unyielding. They don't follow the traditional societal scripts about career, love, or success. They carve their own path, and that path is centered around their vision of what matters most. For them, purpose isn't a passing phase or a fleeting desire. It's woven into the fabric of who they are, and it shapes every decision they make. It's not something they'll abandon for temporary gratification or out of fear of conflict. If a relationship or situation begins to distract them from their goals, they won't hesitate to walk away, no matter how painful. This level of dedication can be hard for some to understand. People often mistake it for coldness or emotional distance, but in reality, it's a deep commitment to being the best version of themselves. Sigma males don't need others to validate their purpose because it comes from within. They know that if they are not true to their mission, they won't be able to offer anything authentic to those around them. In a world that often values compromise over conviction, Sigma males stand firm in their pursuit of purpose, proving that sometimes the most meaningful relationships and successes come from staying true to your own path. Number 8. Their standards are inflexible. Sigma males have standards that are as high as they are unwavering. These aren't just rules they follow out of stubbornness or pride. They're a reflection of their values, their integrity, and their commitment to living authentically. These standards are not negotiable, and anyone who expects them to bend is in for a harsh reality check. For a Sigma male, compromising on what matters most isn't just a bad idea, it's an affront to who they are. It's not that they expect perfection from everyone or everything around them, but they have an internal code that keeps them grounded and focused. Whether it's in relationships, work, or personal pursuits, Sigma males refuse to settle for mediocrity. They value quality over quantity, substance over shallow appearances, and authenticity over pretense. People who try to push Sigma males into situations or relationships that don't align with their standards will quickly realize the futility of it. They won't play along with games or settle for anything less than the best version of what they can achieve. Whether it's in the friends they keep or the projects they take on, their standards set a clear boundary that isn't up for negotiation. This unyielding commitment to their principles means that Sigma males often stand alone, but that's exactly how they like it. They're not interested in conforming to someone else's expectations or accepting compromises that would force them to betray their own beliefs. Their standards might seem high or even impossible to some, but they're what keeps them on their path. In the end, those who respect and meet their standards earn a place in their world, and that's not something they offer lightly. Number 9. Dependency is kryptonite to them. Sigma males despise overdependency, and for good reason. They're fiercely self-reliant and they hold their independence in the highest regard. The idea of being needed in a way that goes beyond healthy interdependence feels like a trap to them. They understand that relationships should be mutual, with both parties bringing their own strength and autonomy to the table. But when someone becomes too dependent on them, emotionally, financially, or otherwise, it feels like an anchor holding them down. It's not that Sigma males aren't willing to help or support others, but they're allergic to the idea of being someone's crutch. They see it as a form of control disguised as care. It might seem harsh, but to them, dependency is a weakness that prevents people from growing and standing on their own. Sigma males don't want to be anyone's emotional caretaker or savior. They want to be partners who inspire growth, not ones who enable stagnation. What sets them apart is their ability to see the difference between mutual support and being constantly relied upon for stability. When the line gets blurred and the other person becomes too reliant, they start pulling away. The Sigma male knows that he needs to preserve his own energy, and allowing someone to lean on him too heavily drains that reserve. It's not about rejecting the person, it's about protecting his own well-being and ensuring he stays true to his path. Overdependency is like a cage to a Sigma male. He values his space, his time, and his emotional freedom too much to sacrifice them for someone else's comfort. In the end, they want relationships that are balanced, where both people can stand strong on their own and then come together to create something even stronger. Number 10. To tame them is to destroy them. Exactly. To try to tame a Sigma male is to misunderstand the very essence of who they are. Their strength lies in their ability to stand apart, to reject the norms, and to live according to their own principles. The act of taming, of forcing them into a mold, is not just an attack on their individuality. It's a denial of what makes them exceptional. The freedom they possess, the way they choose to live outside the traditional constraints of society, is what empowers them to evolve, achieve, and ultimately succeed on their own terms. When someone tries to alter this, they aren't just challenging a set of behaviors. They're trying to erase the soul of the Sigma male. The act of taming isn't an act of care, it's an act of control. And once a Sigma male feels controlled or manipulated, they'll walk away, not with anger, but with a quiet understanding that the connection was never based on mutual respect. If you don't appreciate them for their wild, untamed essence, you don't truly appreciate them at all. And that's the truth they live by. In the end, Sigma males are a breed apart, not because they seek to be different, but because they refuse to be controlled by societal norms or other people's expectations. Their strength lies in their unwavering commitment to independence, respect, and self-growth. They are not rebels for the sake of rebellion, nor are they driven by a need for attention. Instead, they are the quiet architects of their own path, the ones who understand that true power comes not from external validation, but from an inner conviction to live life on their own terms. To try and tame a Sigma male is to misunderstand him completely. It's not about submission or defiance. It's about the freedom to choose, to evolve, and to stay true to one's core values. When people try to control or manipulate them, they don't fight back in the traditional sense. They simply walk away, knowing that their purpose and their self-worth are not for sale. So, if you're ever lucky enough to cross paths with a Sigma male, understand this. They're not here to fit into your box. They're not here to make anyone feel comfortable or conform to a predetermined mold. They're here to live authentically, to challenge the status quo, and to push the boundaries of what it means to be truly free. And that, in itself, is something remarkable. If you can respect that, they'll not only admire you, they'll value you as an equal, but try to control them. And you'll find that no one, not even the most determined force, can tame what is born to run wild. If you've resonated with the mindset and the power of the Sigma male, don't miss out on more content that dives deep into the nature of strength, independence, and living life on your own terms. Hit that subscribe button because this journey isn't over yet. We've only scratched the surface, and there's so much more to explore about the world of the Sigma male and how you can unlock your own limitless potential. Join the community, stay connected, and never stop evolving. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Subscribe now, and let's keep pushing the boundaries together.